Hi guys, it's Michelle from Born Without Boundaries Tarot over here on Astrology Motivation, and this is kind of a pick a card for your predictions of 2022, but not really. What it is an intuitive reading. What your story is. What is your story? So what we're going to do is go through three stories. There are three different story options here, and each story is going to be represented by one word, and these words will play out on the screen, and they will relate to story one, story two, or story three. And whatever word you feel more drawn to, I want you to allow it to pull you to the corresponding reading, and those timestamps are below. So I hope that you enjoy. I hope that you have a blessed and beautiful 2022. It is a game changer right now. There's a lot of fantastic shifts that are happening out of our control at this point. It's sort of the way it's supposed to be. The destiny is unfolding itself. And so let's see where that energy is going to take us. You felt drawn to the word rebirth. Your story begins with this card. It's a Lenormand card, the coffin card, symbolizing endings, completion, finishing over, or literal physical death. But it is in reverse, which means that the endings are done. The endings are over. This is a new beginning for you. And so your story begins where your story ends, which is in the dust. And you're probably somebody who has had a life that's filled with constant starts and restarts and extreme shifts. If you are a Scorpio, if you are an Aries, or if you are just somebody with these strong placements in your chart, or have a tendency to go to extremes for one reason or another in your life has gone through a lot of transformations, a lot of extreme shifts and changes. So this coffin card coming out first it's a message for you. It's a story of this is where you actually begin. All of those things were just false starts. Throughout your life, you've had really high expectations because we have the Page of Swords, we have the 10 of Pentacles, and the Lovers. You've had extremely high expectations. In other words, deciding not to settle for less. You heard a story in your mind, and that's what it had to be. It had to match the story in your mind. But was the story in your mind telling you the truth, or was it just keeping you distracted? Because that's what it's looking like. And as you begin this new stage in your life, it has a raw quality to it. It feels less perfect, but it actually feels. There's not any kind of fog or dream about it. It doesn't feel like you're getting high. It feels like there's actually gravel in your toes, right? A little bit uncomfortable, but there is a sense of I'd rather have that than be in this perpetual cycle of delusion, of high expectations crashing down, high expectations crashing down. We have your commitment is being tested. This was a cycle that you went through constantly in your life, a sense of constantly feeling like you were being tested, constantly feeling like you were being put through the ringer, as well as a statement now to say your commitment is being tested. You know how precarious it is right now. You feel the newness and the vulnerability, and you are somebody that does not like to feel vulnerability, which is probably why you go to extremes a lot, because extremes make you feel powerful. They make make you feel powerful even just by the rush of rising and crashing. So ultimately, this is a sense of trying to find more balance in your life. And then we have inner temple, devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. A sense of listening instead of speaking, instead of making determinations, to sit and watch and to be willing to absorb what the universe or God is actually saying to you. And this is trying. This is very difficult for you. This is it's a new challenge for you. And that's this challenge this year, is to actually walk the earth instead of escaping it. And to actually walk in the 3D world and realize the abundance of it, and realize the importance of this tangible experience to really be recognized and to be living in the actual moment. We have questioning your beliefs, and you will throughout this year start to realize that a lot of the fucking beliefs that you've had in your head have been what has kept you down. That has been what has been the major problem. Why did I think that? Or why did I make that decision? All of those things don't make much sense when I really put in front of me what is giving me quality, or what is adding quality to my life. And then we have third eye chakra, which is there's huge awakenings happening for you this year as you question your beliefs. And so what you've always seen is starting to dissipate, and you're starting to see what you haven't seen before. Awakening to things that were the truth. They were sitting right there in front of you, but you never had the ability to see it before, or you'd never wanted to see it before. Last but not least is not for you, which means that there are a lot of endings. Endings because you're choosing them. Endings not because they're forced on you, but because you realize, I don't actually want this. I wanted the idea of it. And that's been a challenge your whole life. You wanted the idea of something. You never actually took the time to get to know what it was completely. The grimy, the gritty. It was all an extension of excitement or impulse. It was never actually the truth of something. It was never actually the full story of something. And so now you are bold enough to start looking and listening to the full story of something, of a person that you meet, of a job that you decide to take. This is a new path for you because it's a gravelly path, because it's a dirty path, not because you haven't had trials or obstacles in your life before. I think you have, but ultimately they've always been attached to some sort of fantasy or drama that you played out in your mind, and now they're not attached to anything. They're just attached to day by day and doing what is the most frightening for you, which is to be able to sit in the mundane and not be afraid of it. Find peace in the moment without having to look for the next big pleasure. This is a sense of really starting to see the beauty in the truth or the plainness of things. So not for you is saying, and then there's 2 6s, and I want to bring that to your attention. 6 is a beautiful number that says that there's things that are becoming real, things that you've only fantasized that are now becoming actually true. And that's not because they've never been there for you before. It's because now you're finally seeing them. It's because now you're finally able to, through faith, understand that what it is that you're really asking for. If you're asking for true love, that means really loving somebody, not just being in a state of obsession and I'm so crazy about you and oh my God, just the thought of you makes me high. But that's not love. That's not love. That's obsession. It's lust. It's all these other things, but it's not love. Love is really knowing and caring about somebody, which may not seem as exciting, but now you're seeing the truth of it. And you're like, what I've sought my whole life was actually available to me. I just kept getting around it because the truth was I wasn't ready to see it. I wasn't ready. You're ready now. You're ready now, which means third eye chakra 6-6, there are things coming into your life, and the reason why you're inviting them into your life now is because you're starting to realize this shit that you made up in your head, these high expectations, they're not actually for you. They're not actually for you. They're just distracting you. They're just causing you more suffering because they're taking you further away from what it is that you always really wanted, which is somebody to definitely share your life with. We have the Lovers here, and we also have the Ten of Pentacles. So all of those things become very clear, how to get them, how to attain them, how to allow them into your life. And part of it has to do with realizing this ain't going to be perfect. This is going to be a trial. This is going to be like, even when it's good, it's going to feel like it's wearing me down, because that's just real life. That's just how it is. It's not always just escape into the pleasure zone. It's really not about those things. But these things are definitely heading into your life as you learn how to be brave enough to be in the moment instead of in your head escaping the moment. Your commitment is being tested. Inner temple devotion. Tune into the portal of your heart. Are you really listening? Have you ever really been listening to your heart, or has it always been your ego and your fear? These are hard lessons that you're starting to realize, wow, I've been finding a bunch of really good reasons to do really horrible things to myself and allow really horrible things to keep happening to me. Not really horrible as in, but things that don't make me happy. And I've been finding really good reasons for those things my whole life. And now I'm just going to stop finding reasons for them, because the reason is I'm delusional. The reason is I'm playing with myself. I'm playing with my own head, and I don't want to do that anymore. And maybe I was afraid of being vulnerable, which I could see you are somebody who has a hard time with vulnerability. Most people do, but also a lot of people have learned different kinds of strategies to allow themselves their own vulnerability and respect their own vulnerability. These are lessons that you're just starting to learn, and they're going to be your biggest challenges throughout the year. But ultimately, you're realizing that what you used to believe in, you don't believe it anymore. And what you used to want, you don't want anymore. Those same things are not for you anymore. And you're giving up who you used to be, and that's over, and that's done. And now you are rising into somebody that looks very, very different from what you would have thought you would have been in high school. But happy is at the end of your journey, this road, by taking this road. So I love you guys. Thank you for participating. I'll see you in the videos. You were drawn to the word victim. It's a strong word because being a victim is a real thing. You know, it's a real situation in life that happens when we are treated badly beyond our ability to get ourselves out of the situation. But here is where it ends, and here is where it stops. There is definitely a lot of feminine energy here. We have this feminine energy here, this energy that is primed to absorb, to be given to receive. But the point is this: it is not our job. None of us are entitled to just receive our whole lives. That's not feminine energy, that's childish energy. And the bottom fucking line is this: there's a big difference between a woman and a child. Feminine energy is not just about people giving to you or people taking care of you. It is about taking resources from others and turning them into things that were better than they started as. So it is an active function, even though it's passive. So ultimately, this is about finding your divine feminine energy while realizing it's got nothing to do with just having something handed to you or having something being given to you. There has been a lot of turmoil in your life. There could also have been a divorce in your life recently, or you can feel that there is a breakup coming. You can feel almost like in some ways, no matter what you did, you just couldn't make something work. And ultimately, there's a sense of, I'm tired of trying. I'm done. I'm leaving. I can see it right here with the Seven of Pentacles, which is basically failure. The Eight of Cups, which is basically, I'm all out of love. I'm all out of caring. I just don't want to do this anymore. I don't have any energy left. And then the Hierophant, which is ultimately marriage. But it could also be industry. It could also be work. So it could also be about you leaving your job. what you are being given right now, you are very unsatisfied with. You are there's very much a sense of, I don't like my options. I don't even like the resources that are being given to me. But ultimately, stop, because you are not a fucking victim. You have to start where you are now. You can't just sit there and decide, I'm only going to start when the situation's ideal. So what does that mean? It means admitting what's failed, admitting what hasn't worked, and walking away from it. And then taking a studio apartment with 3 kids and finding out how to deal with shit yourself. And I'm not saying that that's where you are in life, but I'm saying that's how bad it could look, but it's not bad at all. It's actually very powerful. Because what you're doing is you are embracing, whether you're male or female, the divine feminine energy of, I'm going to take this piece of coal and I'm going to turn it into gold. Look at the symbol for alchemy. It's a beautiful representation of basically, I think divine feminine and divine masculine energy coming together, but primarily divine feminine energy, because that's what births something new. It takes things that they don't seem like they're much, and they're going to make it into something magical and fabulous. And that's where you are in your life right now. You're going to take what looks like a heaping pile of shit, and you're going to use it as fertilizer for the most luxurious and beautiful crop of cashmere honey that you ever wanted. And ultimately, I say victim because in some ways that's kind of where you're starting out. You feel like everything has been done to me, but that's just not the truth. Nothing has been done to you. You are stronger than something being done to you. And whatever has happened to you before this, it doesn't in any way, shape, or form decide what you're going to do with it. So no matter what shitstorm you have in your life, like the divine feminine, you are going to take where you are and start making something out of it. And let me tell you something. You can definitely spin straw into gold. You have the ability. A personal issue reaches resolution, which means a lot of you, your families are breaking up, or the way that your family changes the way that your family looks is changing. Right? And that could make you feel like a fucking failure, right? But ultimately, there is no choice. Either you walked away or somebody else walked away. And now there's just this sense of, I've taken on a lot. I've taken on so much responsibilities. I have this huge burden. What do I do with it? Well, listen, the more burden you have, the more resources you have. Even if those resources are emotional and psychological, you have the resources to be able to do something. Because look, do something to change your energy. Here it is. This is telling me that a lot of you got to walk away from a situation. You've sort of just, I'm just going to say it, you've sort of just sat there and taken what you've been given and just keep taking it and taking it and taking it, instead of making a decision, well, do I really want this? Do I really want this at all? And now you are empowered, finding a way to be empowered to take it and do what you want with it. And if whoever is around you doesn't want to allow you to do anything with it except what they told you, you're fucking out of there. It's almost like you've decided, I've done all I can, I've taken all I can, I've absorbed all I can, and I'm just not going to do it anymore. Do something to change your energy means walking away from the same old, same old. You are so done feeling like everything is out of your control, like everything is somebody else's decision. And that's why this word was victim, because that's how it feels to be a victim perpetually, is to feel like everything's out of my control. People have totally taken control away from me. You're just done feeling that way. You're done feeling like you have no power, because the truth is, you know you do have power. And this is the energy shift, this is where the energy begins, is deep inside of you. You know that you have unlimited power, and you're tired of the external not reflecting that. Rose petals. There is beautiful abundance just the other side of your fear. And whatever you have settled for, you are making room. That negative space, that feminine energy, you're calling in amazing energy. You're calling it into you when you decide to walk away from the shit that has been clogging your drains. Foundation and achievement is here. Family, real family, a beautiful blessing of a family. the family that you want. This is cleansing, especially fourth house energy, cleansing all that shit, getting rid of it, maybe forgiving parents, maybe forgiving siblings, maybe forgiving ex-spouses. Forgiving means walking away from it and not letting it affect you anymore. It's got nothing to do with condoning anything that may have happened to you. And I'm definitely not saying that if you many of you are attracted to this because you actually have been victims in your life. It is being able to take what you went through and and find a way to make it empower you, and also find a way to like dump it. Dump it because it doesn't serve you, and you don't have to stay in that place where you had no control over your life anymore. You have the ability to now take control of your life, changing your energy and starting to see the world as opportunity instead of obstacle. And then we have exchanging gifts, which means you finally allowing yourself to open up to new people, to partnering with new people, maybe even starting to date again, because there is this sense of this beautiful partnership wants to come in, but you have to walk away from whatever trash you've settled for. And it has a lot to do with when you're a victim, you get stuck in this mindset of I don't have any control because somebody has. See, your brain doesn't normally work like that. Your brain is a very empowered thing. But when you are victimized, you are taught you have no power. You're stripped of your own humanity. This is, I get my own humanity back. This is, I'm walking away from this trash heap of a situation that isn't working at all. This trash heap of a mindset that isn't working at all. I'm getting out of this situation and I'm getting myself into a place of being happy with who I am and seeing the possibilities in something and seeing the opportunities in something. And at the end of this road is actually people who are going to really just come into your life and feel really good to you. It's the good partnership. It's the right partnership. There's a lot of partnership all over this reading, but it tells me that the first thing you have to do is get the fuck out of that bad relationship. And that's really what you're doing. Instead of just like staying there, playing the victim, playing the martyr, or being a martyr, you're like, I'm not getting myself anywhere and I'm not helping myself at all. What I'm doing is I'm ending the situation. Even if that means people are trying to throw shit at you, it doesn't matter. You're walking away, and I'm telling you, everything you want is on the other side of fear. Once you carve that room, there's going to be so many beautiful opportunities because you're starting to see the world in a different perspective, right? You're starting to see the world as, wow, things I never would have tried before, things I never would have thought I've been good enough for. You are good enough for. You're seeing that people will notice you. Other people do want you. You're not stuck in this trash heap of a situation, this trash heap of a job. There's other jobs out there. There's other people out there. It's opportunity, not obstacles. And that's the mind shift that is going to get you this beautiful abundance coming in. Rose petals and foundation of achievements is almost like you are building this new foundation for yourself, and then just watch how the abundance starts to slip in. There will be a new partnership coming in toward the end of this year, a partnership that's so much a partnership that feeds you instead of feeding off you. I love you guys. Thank you so much for taking this time to journey with me through this story, and I'll see you guys in the videos. You have been drawn to the word resolution. There is a situation that you are struggling with that you know how big it is. You know how big it goes. You know that it's not just a little problem. You know that it's connected to a lot of big shit and probably a lot of big people and a lot of very powerful people. This could have a lot to do with money. This could have a lot to do with finances. Ultimately, though, you're going against people with a lot of power, people who are very, very imposing. This could be even the government in some ways. And ultimately, you feel like you're the little guy out. There's no way that everybody's left you back, they've left you behind, or they've robbed you. And they've treated you like shit. They've literally hog-tied you and left you to just be eaten by the fucking vultures. But somehow you're like, no, not me, son, not me. Because there's too much strength in you to just be a victim or just be left out for people to feed on. And you are going to take a stand. There is a sense of taking something that is very formidable, taking an issue, taking a problem. It could be outside of yourself, like leading protests, standing up, starting to fucking file lawsuits. It could be as big as that. Or it could just be that you are deciding now that you have avoided something or run from something or been intimidated and stepped on by something for long enough, and you are not going to let it control you anymore. It could just be like, I've delayed doing my taxes for so long. I know that it's gonna be a bear. I know that I can't run from this anymore. Like coming to face something that is very challenging, very difficult, that you know is going to be a hard battle and take all your energy, but that's what you're doing. Why? Because you're sick of running, because you're naturally not a coward, because you are naturally somebody who finds a way to take possession of their fears and use it as the greatest and most sharp tool to be able to do something with or empower yourself and do something about it. This could also be like things like weight loss or weight gain, anything that you've let get out of control, anything that has become its own virus, its own disease, anything that's become something that has become huge. You're just so tired of it. You're just so sick of it. Moreover, you see, a bear is a bear. If it can live, it can die. And I know I'm going to go hunting this bear. I'm not going to let it hunt me anymore. I'm going to get whatever it is that has been chasing me, hunting me down, fucking with me. I am going to find a resolution to this situation, no matter how hard I got to go, no matter how loud I got to scream. But you, for this whole year, are intent on resolving these fucking issues that nobody else seems to either be able to help you with because it is a personal thing, or nobody else seems to want to stand up and say anything because it's so big nobody wants to get involved. But that's not you. You are not nobody. You are somebody who is legitimately possessed with a preternatural sense of strength, sense of, but I've got to do the right thing. And this is the good news. You will find the ability to do the right thing, even if it has hog-tied you and fucked with you and fucked you up. Even if it is something that has been totally out of your control, you will find the strength this year to be able to get it under grips and basically whip that bitch into bouncing a fucking ball on its nose and doing things your way. Conclusions are within reach. Full moon eclipse. So watch this full moon energy. Watch and see all of those things that are very toxic, the toxins coming to the surface. But this is a sense of you're sick of something. You're done. You're tired of putting up with it emotionally. It's gonna pop. You're about to burst. And you also have a tremendous amount of power to make this burst be the catalyst for change, because that's what you really want. That's what this is about. This is about change. This is about resolving a fucking issue. And because you resolve the fucking issue, you're resolving it and you're creating change. So maybe I'll add that word. Maybe that will be the word for this, because this is more about change. It's finding the strength to look at something in the eye and change it, even no matter how intimidating it can be. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change this to change, but we'll start with resolution and you'll figure out why. We'll just go through the reading. Priestess, how are you being called to step up and lead? And this is how I know. You have the Strength card. You have the 7 of Wands. Ultimately, you are chosen. You are chosen to step up and take a stand. You are chosen to stick up for something, or stand up for something, or stand up to something, even if it is coming from inside of you. It's saying that this is not about people are going to help you out. This is about this situation needs a leader and you're it, whether you like it or not. This is a sense of step up and lead, because people need your strength. People need your insight. People need your voice. Say it, do it, speak it, say it out loud. Change. You know change has to come, and somebody has to ignite that change, and you're going to be the one. And then we have resolution. So resolution is also a very good, maybe I'll keep it resolution and just see who shows up, because it really is resolution to change something. These are like your fighting beasts. There's just something that you, like, talking about it isn't going to be good enough anymore, right? Considering it or learning about it isn't going to be good enough anymore. Hypothesizing isn't going to be, you have to actually take action. You have to actually take a fucking stand. Resolution is what you are calling for right now, and you are not willing to compromise or allow things to continue. You have to make this change. And then we have the waiting game. So you've been dealing with this for quite some time. But you also realize, no, I think it's like time's up. Like, that you've been dealing with this for a long enough period of time. That was a piece of dust. You've been dealing with this for a long time, and it's been in limbo for a long time. And maybe that's because it's been convenient. It's been easier to kind of ignore this and let it fall to the background. But that's just not, it's like we've wasted so much time on this. And ultimately, it's it. Time's up. Time's done. How much longer are you going to wait? How much longer are you going to take it? How much longer you're going to decide to stay where you are and accept what is not good for you, or accept what is hurting you or harming you? Like I said, whether you're doing it to yourself or it's coming from outside of you, this is yin energy. Interesting, isn't it? Because you usually kind of like think of this energy as yang energy. But I feel like this is the vacuum that's pulling you. It is your yang energy. It is your energy of doing something, moving forward, pushing forward. But there's also a sense of this void has to be filled. Something has to be filled. And you've been waiting a long time to fill it. And maybe that's what inspired you to take the action yourself. Interestingly enough, twist of the story, surprise ending, you actually are going to receive a great deal by making the decision to take this stand and make these actions. It's actually going to give. You're going to actually receive so much, because ultimately what you're doing is you're creating space that wasn't there before, because it was all clogged up. It was all blocked up. Somebody was all greedy and just like, this is mine. No, now you're making space. This is a sense of get ready to receive. Get ready to receive, because when you take this stand, when you make these decisions, when you make these changes, when you go after this, get ready to receive, because the universe wants to reward you for this. It's ultimately been stagnated too long. Somebody's got to do something about it. And like I said, it could be anything from weight loss to figuring out your debt to standing up to a fucking industrial tyrant and going all the way to Congress or protesting. It could be anybody. Whatever it is, it's been happening for too long, and you can't just sit around and do anything and do nothing about it anymore. So it really is the sort of great revolutionary rebellion kind of energy, rebellion against what has been bullying you or keeping you down, or it seemed too scary, it seemed too big, it seemed like it was too much. Thinking about taking those college courses. Oh, I can't do it. Yes, you can do it. As much as it scares you, it's a sense of, but I've got to confront what scares me. I have got to go on the offensive. I can't sit here and just keep saying I can't do it, because I can do it. And the rewards are so abundant. By the end of this year, you will be receiving so much by you just standing up and taking a stand and not taking no for an answer and going on the attack. Go ahead, go on the attack, go after this, because it's ultimately like you have been letting something that you're afraid of stand in your way, and you've got to attack that fear to get through that obstacle and resolve those issues or face those challenges, because on the other side, there's such this glorious sense of I want to give something to you. The universe wants you to receive this, right? And it's just getting through all the muck, cutting through all that crap to get to that point, and this is where you begin. So hot damn, fucking phenomenal energy. I love you guys, and I will see you in the readings.